Welcome everyone, and blessed be. This is part 2 of my full moon forecast from March the 23rd for the next lunar cycle, and the deck that I'm working with is the Oracle of the Mermaids. And if you watched part 1, you may have seen that the video actually cut out just as I was working my way through Capricorn. So I hadn't finished Capricorn, I hadn't gone into Aquarius, and I certainly hadn't completed Pisces. And there was also a general reading that I wanted to give you all about the energy at the moment. Those cards all came forth, and I actually recorded them all, but mysteriously the end of the video kind of vanished, so I'm not sure what happened there. But I'm back, and I wanted to bring you what was left out. So let's begin. Capricorn, throughout this lunar eclipse and the energy that you're going to be working with, as I spoke about in part 1 of this full moon forecast, you are very sensitive at the moment, and your card is Coral's Wisdom. It's very important for you at this point in time, as well as the sensitivities that I spoke about, particularly nervous system sensitivities, skin sensitivities. It's very important for you to find ways to support healthy networks and connections, because it's almost like your energy is extending out and searching for others at this time, and you'll be attracting people towards you because they'll be sensing these almost energetic tendrils that are coming from you. So it's very important that you sustain yourself, do everything you can to support yourself throughout this period, be very kind to yourself, and to put yourself in a position where you don't feel obligated to others. There's a sense that your energy is being spread a little thin in some directions, and I'd like you to pull some of that back towards yourself. There's also a sense that a lot of energy was extended some time ago, and it's still out there. You know, you haven't completely pulled some of that energy back and reintegrated it into yourself, which has led to a little bit of weakness in some ways around the solar plexus chakra. More on that a little later. Very important for you to be around supportive, kind people. I know you have them in your life. Really seek them out and appreciate them and focus on them throughout this lunar cycle. Beautiful cat. Now, moving to Aquarius. Aquarius, your card for this particular lunar cycle is that of Sanctuary. It's card number 28 in the Oracle of the Mermaids. And Sanctuary is very much about needing to have a private space, an inviolate space around you. Inviolate, not inviolate as in the colour, but something that cannot be violated, boundaries that cannot be interrupted or penetrated. It's a little as if you need to have a sacred room or space within your home that only you really get to go into, and if other people go in, it must be with great respect, and they certainly must ask for permission before they do that. Now, while I know many of you may be saying, well, how, Lucy, can I possibly establish that? I'm so busy, I have my family around me, there are so many people. That's exactly why you need this sacred space. Even if it's a time or a corner of your room where you set up an altar, or an hour in the bath where you take really good care of yourself and no one can interrupt that time and space. That's what you need at this point in time, because it feels to me that your boundaries have not been respected. You've asked for little, really, and you're still not being given that respectful space, the respectful boundary that you deserve and you require to be in the full blossoming of your energetic, physical, emotional health throughout this time. I would love you to get some kind of some bath salts, some herbs that you can sprinkle throughout your bath that make you feel very protected and very calm If you're interested, I do have those on my website, ones which are very good for banishing any kinds of negativity. But you can also have them yourself. A handful of pure sea salt will work wonders in your bath. It leaves a kind of crystalline film around your body and your energetic self that really cleanses you, but also doesn't attract any of that very intrusive energy that does seem to be around you at this time. I'd love you to make your bathroom, your bath, your shower, your sanctuary throughout this coming lunar cycle. And moving on to the beautiful Pisceans, the deeply, deeply emotional ones. And the card that you have is a very beautiful card, which is called the Selkie and Her Skin. Now this card is about almost as if you've been domesticated. It's almost as if you've given up so much of yourself in the roles that you've played within family, as a mother or a father, or as a student. You've really identified to such a huge degree with a role and a label that the wild essence of who you are has been somewhat lost. Now, this lunar cycle is the time to begin to feel it rising and to begin to feel that you're going to reclaim some of your own wild nature, and you're not going to identify so much with how other people have defined you. There's the idea of taking your self-definition back. It's under your control throughout this lunar cycle. Very important for you to have time away from whatever that role is. If you are a person who identifies heavily with being a homemaker, you need to find a space outside of that. If you identify heavily with being a student, you need to find a space outside of that. You need adventures. You need immersion in other experiences throughout this lunar cycle. And what that will do is awaken that wild, wild part of you that is longing to be expressed. You will find an authentic sense of yourself that has been in some danger for some time. Welcome home. It's like you're returning. Now, the card that flew out of the deck right at the beginning is a card that applies to all of us and the energy that we're experiencing throughout this lunar cycle. And it is the card called Energy Field Adjustment, card number 6 in the Oracle of the Mermaids. Energy Field Adjustment is very much about the solar plexus chakra, about your power, and it is about the healthy fostering of power within your personal relationships, within your kin, in your family, how you connect, how you relate to people. It is the loving fostering of personal power and the expression of that power. So it is something that many of us do find challenging, to come home to our power and to speak from the solar plexus, because many of us have been punished for working with our power, either in previous incarnations or just throughout this lifetime. There are a lot of social taboos around many of us expressing power, whether it be because of our gender, our social status, our financial status. But what this card recommends is that you are going to be really focusing on the solar plexus. And one very healthful way to do that is to take yourself out into the light each day and to allow the light of the sun to connect deeply with your solar plexus and to feel the golden energy within this beautiful chakra brightening, growing and expanding until it begins to radiate out from you, until there's almost a sort of golden aura around you. And that's what all of us will be working with now. This also means that some people will tip out of balance with their solar plexuses throughout this time. Some people will tip into feeling fearful about their power and apologizing for their power. Others will tip into being too forceful out of balance and a little aggressive with their power. If you can take yourself into the light and bathe your solar plexus in sunlight each day, if you can't literally do that, visualize it, feel it. Really tenderly nourish your own power and then gently express your power in the world. This doesn't mean, gentle doesn't mean timid necessarily. There's a lot of misunderstandings about the use of the words gentle or vulnerability. These are all very powerful things when they're expressed confidently. You can express your kindness with courage and dignity and grace, and that is an energy that we are all walking towards. When we see beings out there in the world expressing their power in ways that are not as I've just described, you'll know that that energy that's around at the moment is being reworked, and some people are not coping with it. It also means that there'll be some extremely powerful solar flares throughout this time. And again, that's why we need to get into contact with our solar plexus and balance here first, so that we can not be knocked off our center throughout this time of change. So blessings of this beautiful eclipse. May the window of the eclipse have brought you wisdom and a true opportunity to integrate into your fullness shadow aspects of yourself that perhaps we have not owned. May this time bring about golden light and power radiating out from you and radiating to you. May you be treated with dignity and respect and golden light. And may you too be a being of such worth in the world. Blessed be. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look so much forward to seeing you again, this time next full moon. Blessed be, friends.